Welcome to Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast, where we bring you news, notes, and more to help you win your championship fantasy football league. Stay tuned and listen in for the great information we have for you today. Welcome to another episode of Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast.
He was just ripping on me just a second ago.
Just a part of you, the Raiders. That's fine. That pitiful squad of, children running on a football field against adults, apparently.
So we're back.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Word.
And we're here today talking to you, hopefully, if you are feeling good about your playoff win.
Right, this is for the playoff people.
Playoff wins or...
Not the consolation bracket.
Or you could be like me winning against Corey right now, so...
Or me who has a chance. Or has a bye in 1 week in league because I'm on boss and win 11 straight games. You know what? No here nor there.
It's always bragging. It's okay. I mean, if you're out on top,
hey, man, you win 11 straight games, I'll let you brag.
That was, man, the first 2 weeks, I was like, yes, you started 0-2. This is going to be great. You're going to have a crappy team.
Rally time! When you got Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, picking up Alex Collins, Jamal Williams, Michael Thomas. Had Carson Wentz and Kirk Cousins all year.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
I had bad receivers, though. They were up and down. I had one good one and a bunch of rotating fools that were just jesters on my team.
I think I would have had a good season if Deshaun Watson didn't go down. And if Aaron
You had a great season. It'd be a different story for you.
It would. But
that would have also helped Trey in so many levels.
That is true because he has DeAndre Hopkins and
he's also on like 10 straight games in the other league.
Yeah. So that's not looking good.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off with a Thursday night game. We'll start with the Saints Falcons, and we're gonna go with the Saints side. Drew Breezy, baby, did get a couple of touchdowns in there. 271, 2 scores, 1 pick, 17 fantasy points, and standard scoring. Shouldn't say standard scoring. Standard scoring for quarterbacks. So.
Yes. Are we doing just standard, or are we doing... So I'm going to go down.
Oh, no, we're doing PPR, but quarterbacks is going to be standard scoring across all leagues.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
For them.
All right. So then Mark Ingram, 49 rushing yards, 4 receptions on 5 targets for 43 yards. Now, the offense would have been 10 times better if Kamara didn't go out with a concussion.
Yep. You got
because Mark Ingram's points, I think, would have been 10 times more better, too, for a lot of fantasy owners. I know it must really suck to see that happen if you're a Kamara fan and an owner. That probably hurts you. I know a lot of people are...
Gives you a rough start to the week.
Very much. And then Michael Thomas.
Thursday night game.
Do you want to talk about Michael Thomas, or do you want me to do it? Because, I mean, you got him. That's your boy. I mean, he's your boy.
I can speak about him a little bit.
Yeah? Because, I mean...
Absolutely, because Michael Thomas finally gets his big game, 6 receptions, 17 yards, and a score.
Yep. Having minor
mouse
difficulty.
is freaking out here. No, my mouse is just stopping.
There we go.
There 10 receptions, 117, and a touchdown. So, yeah, that's the game that you would have been expecting about Michael Thomas all season. But it came at a good time if you're in the playoffs. This is where you wanted it to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These ones are the ones that actually matter the most. Well, mainly if you're like itching to get into the playoffs, maybe you need to win your first.
You gotta win out or something.
Right. Then that matters, and then into the playoffs, no matter what matters because you need that,
Yes.
So I guess we'll talk about the Falcons. Matt Ryan. I don't know what to say about that.
Garbage.
I mean, he even threw 221, 1 touchdown, but he threw those awful 3 interceptions that just weren't great at all.
No, but he was struggling out there.
He's very up and down. But Devontae Freeman helped you out a little bit.
Came back from the concussion
Yep.
and played well.
He did. He had only 91 rushing yards for one rushing touchdown. So he gave you about 15 fantasy points, which you're probably happy if you have them.
Yes.
Mohamed Sanu, he balled out 6 receptions on
Tell
8
him.
targets.
Tell him.
I think he's freaking out. 83 yards. I don't know how to work this thing without
a score.
And a touchdown. And then Julio, 5 receptions on 11 targets for 98 yards.
Yep.
He did drop some
Couple
easy
of passes.
ones.
Couple
So,
of easy ones.
that
One for a
kinda
big
hurts.
third down play even, but,
Right.
you know,
But
they still figured it out. Atlanta still pulled it off, so good for Atlanta.
yes, very.
Let's swing down to Indianapolis and Buffalo. I think
That
so.
one was a very interesting snowy day. That one was a crazy one.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Indian.
No, you can keep talking, actually.
Frank Gore was your only guy because it was such a snowy day that they couldn't really throw. He rushed for 130 yards, which is not bad at all.
There we go.
Got 1 reception on 1 target for 10 yards. Gave you 15 fantasy points, and he was the only relevant one besides Jack Doyle with a touchdown.
Check.
He was on 2 receptions on 3 targets for 4 yards and that 1 touchdown. So that was like at the goal line. And the Bills, what do you say? I mean, Joe Webb was the one that came in and really didn't do much. But LaShawn McCoy was your game winner. If you have him, you're very happy about that. 156 yards rushing on 1 rushing touchdown that came into overtime. So he got you 21 fantasy points, which you're probably happy about. If you're going against him, probably not liking this week. Calvin Benjamin finally decided to actually play and actually get a touchdown.
Yeah, 3 for 38 to score.
Yep. So that basically
Ends it with them.
because nothing else pretty much happened.
Now, Chicago, Cincinnati.
This one really
Actually balled out for the Chicago
crazy.
side of things. Yeah, Chicago was a fantasy production area, surprisingly. So we'll start with Mitchell Trubisky, who actually had 271 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. So 21.3 fantasy points for him, which was impressive.
very impressive.
So,
very impressive.
good showing that he can actually come out and play against a good defense, despite missing Burfict, still a good defense. Jordan Howard took over. Again, someone that's kind of been up and down the season, but came to play when you needed them. First round of the playoffs, Jordan Howard, 147, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 reception for 8 yards on top of that.
Yep.
28.5 fantasy points. You can't really argue. You don't have to be mad at that whatsoever.
If you're Tyreek Cohen,
Yeah, we don't need to worry about him because he didn't do much. But surprisingly, Kendall Wright showed up for once, 10 for 107.
yes, getting to that, 10 receptions on 11 targets for 107 yards. You're very happy about because he looked like he might be the number 1 there.
And I heard about this Adam Shaheen guy that they were talking about. A lot of other analysts were talking about and everything like that. Someone that kind of forgotten about, but he had 4 for 44 and a touchdown. They said that he had a chance to be a bigger role, and there it is. So
Maybe that will start happening.
streamers, if you need somebody,
Yeah.
some, so
No.
people who missed Gronk this week, like me.
Well, it's okay because you have him on a bye. You're the one that has him on the bye, right?
No,
Trey has him in the other league.
no, I need him in the league. I need him in
Oh, is it the standard one?
Pac-12.
Oh, that sucks.
You suck.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm about
So
to win.
here we go with the Bengals. The only fantasy relevant person was Giovanni Bernard, 6 for 68, and then 62 rush yards on top of that, 19 fantasy points, PPR scoring. So
And the reason why, if you did pick him up and you didn't know why Giovanni Bernard's the one we're talking about instead of Joe Mixon, because Joe Mixon was injured.
yes,
So he might actually be back next week for their next game. They certainly do miss him apparently because they got their butts handed to.
Where now let's go to Chicago, or in Chicago. Let's go to Green Bay and Cleveland, which actually was a fancy production center too. And a surprising turn of events.
This one, for Packers fans, which a lot of Viking fans, we're missing one right now, would have been very happy for Cleveland to get their first win. So,
I would have taken that. I wanted them to beat the Packers. I was really hopeful.
Nice.
So speaking that we're on Cleveland, Josh Gordon, for anybody that picked him up, you were pretty happy. I mean, 3 for 69 and a touchdown, 15.9 fantasy points. I mean, for a guy that's his second game back and looking good and making plays and catches,
hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, I mean, he's just
Dude's crazy.
Figuring it out. And Corey Coleman got a score, 5 for 62 in the reception or receiving touchdown. Again, another player that was out with injury or gone from the team, coming back, being productive. The 1s and 2s are here and showing up. Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell both did damage this week. Isaiah Crowell, 121 and 3 catches for 10 yards, 16.1. And then Duke Johnson, 4 receptions, 41 reception yards, and a receiving touchdown. So impressive because Deshaun Kaiser threw 3 touchdowns. They 2 picks, but 3 TDs, 17.3. Actually has some fancy value on that side of the ball. Going to the Packers side, 3 people really produced today. You had Devontae Adams with 30.4 points, 10 receptions, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, the game-winning score on top of it. Then you know that he's the player they want to go to in all this because they put that ball in his hands to make a play to get the game-winning score. So, hey, there you go. Jamal Williams, the other person, 49 rushing yards. He's always kind of a plodder, but he gets a rushing touchdown, 7 targets, 7 receptions, 69 yards, and a receiving touchdown. 2 scores on the day as well, which gave Brett Hundley a few scores to work with. 265, 3 touchdowns, 31 rushing yards, 25.7 fantasy points. Boom.
That's the Brett Hundley that I'm used to seeing. I love that.
Yeah, right. You're not used to seeing it. Okay. Not in the NFL, anyway. Maybe at UCLA.
Yes, UCLA. I was so high on him. Love that guy.
You didn't know who he was.
Excuse you. I follow my UCLA teams.
No, you don't.
Josh Rosen's going too.
Josh Rosen is garbage.
Okay.
He's going to the crap bowl.
He's playing here.
The toilet bowl.
Oh, okay. Then Arizona's toilet.
Yeah, they are. Do you see them play? They are a toilet. You just proved my point. Thanks, guy. I really appreciate it.
Shut up.
Idiot. Tell me about the Raiders, though.
I would love to be like all over this, but
I wish not talk about the Raiders.
Jared Cook, I'm going to start with first. 5 receptions on 6 targets, 75 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. The get-go kind of person because Amari Cooper is not there. Michael Crabtree was actually relevant. He's 7 receptions for 60 yards. Marshawn Lynch got a rushing touchdown on 61 yards. And then Derek Carr was nothing.
I like how Marshawn goes off against me, but then duds out over here.
Good.
Yeah, well, let's go to the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt showed back up, 22.8 fantasy points, 116, 1 rushing touchdown, 3 for 3 and 22 receiving yards. So, you're happy with that. He, again, can show up and play. That's awesome. Travis Kelce, 7 for 74. Tyreek Hill, 4 for 75. Not great, but, whatever. And if you had Harrison Butker, like your kicker, 16 fantasy points, you were pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
Moving on. So that's how you do the quick rundown. Boy.
What?
No, I don't know. I mean, I wish you'd tell me, but you don't even know, so.
I would love to be able to talk a little bit more about my Raiders, but
No, I would like to talk less about that. Less is better. Because we gotta move fast. We're moving fast. Giants. Cowboys. The only person moving fast in that game, the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, bounce back game, 332, 3 touchdowns. You were happy about that. Then you got Rod Smith, who they've been high on, and they finally actually used properly. 47 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 5 receptions, 113 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. 33 fantasy points. Balling. Des Bryant, 3 for 73 to score. 16 fantasy points. You're happy about that. Des actually getting touchdowns back-to-back weeks, so you're happy there. New York Giants, Wayne Gallman got the majority of the carries here. 59 rush yards. And then 7 receptions on 9 targets, 40 receiving yards, 16.9 fantasy points. And everybody else was kind of the irrelevant factor. You don't really care about anybody else. Most people probably with Evan Ingram, 9.4 fantasy points. And you're moving on from all that nonsense. Now we're going down to Detroit and Tampa, which was kind of a crazy game with turnovers.
Really was. If you had any other defense, you're probably super happy about.
Yeah, quarterbacks played terrible this game on both sides.
It was garbage.
It was not good. Definitely was not good.
Theoretic was the only good one for the. Well, except for Golden Tate, but Theoretic, 2 rushing touchdowns on 29 yards, 6 receptions for 64, gave you 27 fantasy points. Golden Tate, 8 receptions on 9 targets, 85 yards, and 1 touchdown. So that, and then Eric Ebron, for some reason, got 10 receptions on 11 targets for 94 yards. Where has that been?
Had the fumble from the loss, but
too.
still ended up with 17.4 fantasy points.
Yep.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Weird day. Wouldn't look too much into that one. Maybe they use them, maybe they don't, but you'll have to see the second game to actually have faith in that.
For real.
James Winston, garbage. Do not use him. Do not start him. He has 51 turnovers in 41 games. 53 turnovers in 41 games.
That's crazy. What are
you doing?
Just giving the other team the other ball. That's what they're doing.
Fumbling or interceptions or whatever.
I mean,
why not just hand it off to the defense and let them go for 6?
And that's basically what he feels like.
But otherwise, there is nobody on the team that you're looking to start. Doug Martin did have a touchdown, but nobody really cares. O.J. Howard showed up a little bit. I mean, there's nobody on here that you're
Mike
trying
Evans
to
was
have
barely
faith on.
involved, which is garbage because he's your guy.
Mike Evans was my guy, but can't have faith in him right now. So you probably don't want to start him next week. So I mean, you can't do it against Detroit. What are you gonna do? You know,
right?
I mean, Detroit's defense is good, but they're not that good. You know, so sorry, Tampa. Moving on from you, let's go to the Vikings and Panthers because people actually played football here. Case Keenum, baby. 280, 2
Very
touchdowns,
happy.
2 picks, had a fumble, but still managed 19.2 fantasy points, and came out victor. Oh wait, they took a loss.
No.
Yeah, that's right, they did lose. Yeah, I forgot about that. That last Jonathan Stewart touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the third one.
Dude,
Who spited you because you dropped him.
that was the beginning of the season, but I mean, because Christian McCaffrey was taking everything.
Christian McCaffrey was. I don't know where that turned around. You know, because when you look at Christian McCaffrey in here.
I think it's because they got rid of Benjamin. Because they were trying to focus a lot on Benjamin, and he was the focal
Right,
point.
but Benjamin's still gone, and McCaffrey has gone downhill the last little bit, you know.
A little bit, but he's
And
still getting
Jonathan
better.
Stewart's been getting the goal line work.
Yeah, because I mean, Christian McCaffrey only had 8 fantasy points.
Sorry, we jumped over from the Vikings to the Panthers.
Yeah.
So, but we'll just go with the Panthers. We'll go back to the Vikings.
Yeah, we'll go back.
So Jonathan Stewart, 103, 3 rushing touchdowns in the game, winning touchdown, leaping over there. So
That was pretty dirty, man.
it was. Devin Funches, 3 for 59, a receiving touchdown, and Cam Newton, 137, 1 touchdown and a pick. 70 rushing yards, mostly on 1 play it came from. So, you can start Cam. He's mobile, so that's a big thing. Now let's go back up to the Vikings. We talked about Keenum. Let's go to Thielen. 6 receptions on 13 targets, 105 yards and a score, just doing his daily duties, no big deal. And then Stephon Diggs, 6 for 64, taking a background to Adam Thielen, who is now the superstar, and Kyle Rudolph, 3 for 41 and a touchdown. Another good tight end in the league. So had a pretty gross drop, but made up for it later on. So
Yeah, that was a pretty bad drop.
it was not good. Not good.
Scared. I'm so scared.
Alright, we're at 8. Let's go for San Francisco, Houston anyway. Let's just go take care of them. We're moving pretty good. So, We go down to boom, 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 boom. There we go. San Francisco and Houston.
Trying to find them, I can't find them.
Houston. TJ Yates actually had a good fantasy day. 175 and 2 touchdowns, 31 rushing yards. Wasn't turnover prone. I mean, he did enough to, try to help him get the win anyway. They couldn't pull it off, but he didn't lose them the game, so that's good. DeAndre Hopkins is still, no matter who's the quarterback, still the man. 11 receptions on 16 targets, 149 and 2 scores.
That's insane.
I mean, he's the only other person you need to worry about there. Lamar Miller, if you have him, kind of probably a letdown for you. Like that was for me. So, Marquise Goodwin had 16.6 fantasy points, 6 for 106. So you're happy about that if you picked them up and used them. And then Jimmy Garoppolo started coming to his own there, 334, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. So slowly coming together. And Carlos Hyde, 78 rush yards and a rushing touchdown. 13.8.
Robbie Gould, still kicker. Gave you matter. Gave you 16 fantasy points. And then Garrett Selleck got involved, 2 on 4 targets, 67 yards and a receiving touchdown also.
Exactly. Words.
So, got to give it to the San Francisco 49ers for, finally waking up and putting in a good quarterback. And
we'll see what. I can't wait till next year, man. Pierre Garçon's back, and then
when people are finally back, like obviously the first week of football is going to be just another.
Jimmy can be that like awakened person, like Deshaun Watson was, where you give him the chance to the right people. And all of a sudden, everything's changed. Carson Wentz this year, where everything just changes. Just changes.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. I think for sure Carson Wentz next year is going to go 1 in the first round. And then
no, he should not go in the first round. You should never draft a quarterback. I mean, I know some people will do that, but this year has proven there's no need to draft a quarterback in the first round. Right. Carson Wentz is the number 1 quarterback, and even if Aaron Rodgers was still around, he could still be fighting for number 1. The way he's been playing, and you got Carson Wentz in like the 9th, 10th round.
Yeah.
This is like the ultimate proof right here this year. So,
it is.
But we're gonna end there. We're gonna end with San Francisco, Houston. We'll pick up again with New York, Denver coming tomorrow, and then we'll go through the rest of the games and we'll talk some waiver stuff with it, as we go along. So, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for hanging out. Enjoy your evening.
Monday Night Football.
And watch Monday Night Football. Yeah.
And we'll see you guys, and we'll definitely talk about the Monday night game too. So.
Absolutely.
Adios, guys.